For further insight now, we are joined by Chen Herzog of BDO Consulting. Thank you as ever for being with us.
Hello.
Well, this is a staggering statistics. 1.7 million people here live in poverty. Was that surprising to you?
Well, the poverty indicator is basically just another indicator of the problem of inequality in the Israeli economy. And Israel is ranked one of the top, unfortunate rank of one of the top countries in terms of inequality.
Right, and here we're looking at this graphic that actually shows the OECD average. Israel just after Mexico in terms of the worst relative income poverty.
Right. In terms of income poverty, in terms of what we call the Gini index, the Gini coefficient of inequality, we have 37% inequality in the economy, which is one of the highest in the world. But if you want to translate and understand this inequality in terms of the cost of living in Israel, I can give you two examples. One is the cost of housing in Israel. The cost of housing in Israel today, an average apartment costs about 140 average salaries. If you compare that to the US, it's twice as much expensive. So it's twice as much difficult for an Israeli young couple to purchase an apartment.
Based on the salary disparity.
On the relative, right. And another example is the cost of food. An average Israeli family, the expenditure on food is about 16% of the total expenditure. For the US, for an American family, it's just over 5%. So in relative terms, the food expenditure in Israel is 3 times as high. So if you take these two basic components of consumption, food and housing, and you see the comparative disadvantage, then you can translate the problem of cost of living.
Yes, but at the same time here in Israel, they have an unemployment rate, which is considered quite low at 5%. And also just recently, the Knesset passed legislation to raise the minimum wage. So isn't that enough to offset this? What's going on here?
Yes, the indicator of unemployment rate is really misleading here. Because if we have 5 or 5.9% unemployment, it doesn't mean that the rest of the 94, 95% are employed. Because the figure of unemployment has two deficiencies. One, it doesn't measure, it only measures the unemployment in terms of people who want to participate in the labor force. So if you have women who are not participating, who choose not to participate, if you have ultra-Orthodox population that is not participating in the labor force, and another problem is part-time workers. If you work part-time, even if you work just 1 or 2 hours a month, you're already considered employed. And in the current situation in the Israeli economy, that we have a lot of contract workers who wish to work full-time but are unable to, they are counted as fully employed, although their earning is really partial employment.
Right, so that's misleading here.
Exactly.
And you mentioned the ultra-Orthodox community. They also specified in the report the Arab community, which has a high poverty rate of 52%, and also the ultra-Orthodox even higher than that. What's going on here with these communities suffering the most from this crisis?
We have two really, 3 big populations which are the source of inequality in Israel, the concentration of inequality. One is the elderly population. Over 20% are below the poverty line. And the second 2 population are the ultra-Orthodox and the Arab. Now, there is good news and bad news, if so to speak. The bad news in terms of this population is that this is a population, the Arab and the ultra-Orthodox, that is predestined to poor living, because a child born to an ultra-Orthodox or to an Arab family today has a probability or a 50% chance to become poor. And this is quite devastating. But the good news in terms...
Why is that the case, though? Is this from the community itself, or is the government perhaps not investing enough in those population groups?
It's a problem of participation in the labor force. Because if you look at these populations, you would see a low percentage of participation in the labor force of the ultra-Orthodox men, and a low participation in the labor force of Arab women. That's one source. The second source is education. If your education system is not strong enough, if you don't have enough educational skills, then you have no way to earn a living in the modern society. And we have a problem in this sense in both of these sectors.
Right. And just real quickly, last word, the government, of course, was quick to criticize this report. What is their defense?
Well, if you look at government policy in terms of inequality, you can cure the problem, like in medicine, you can cure the illness, or you can just treat the symptoms. What the government doing today is mostly treat the symptoms. Welfare benefits, you treat the symptoms. And the government should do more to improve employment, to improve education, and cure the problem.
Well, fascinating. Thank you very much for being here with us as always. That wraps up our show today. Do stay tuned here every day for all your global economic analysis. Thank you as ever for joining us.